In a quiet little village, nestled beside a serene lake, lived a young mother and her infant son, Noah. Their home was modest, their possessions few, but the love they shared was as vast as the open sky. Every morning, the mother would make her way to the water's edge to wash their clothes. And every morning, as the first light kissed the surface of the lake, a magnificent white swan would appear, gliding gracefully across the still, misty water. It was an elegant, calm presence, and it seemed to watch over them, a silent guardian in the morning haze. The bond between the swan and the baby was almost immediate. Little Noah, with his bright, curious eyes, would giggle and coo, reaching his tiny, chubby hands out towards the swan. And the swan, in turn, would tilt its long, graceful neck, its dark eyes seeming to hold a gentle, knowing warmth, as if it were smiling back at the child. This daily ritual became a source of quiet wonder for the mother and a topic of hushed conversation among the villagers. Day after day, without fail, the swan returned. The locals began to whisper tales about the solitary bird. Some said she had once lost her own signets to a predator and had since been drawn to the innocent laughter of a human child, finding a strange, bittersweet comfort in his presence. The mother, feeling a deep connection to this beautiful creature, decided to name her Luna, and somehow, it seemed Luna always knew when Noah was near. If he cried from his cradle by the shore, she would swim closer, her movements calm and reassuring. If he slept peacefully, she would drift contentedly nearby, a silent, feathered sentinel. Their connection was a thread of pure, unspoken understanding woven into the fabric of their daily lives by the lake. One afternoon, the sky, once a brilliant blue, began to darken with an ominous speed. Heavy, bruised-looking clouds rolled in from over the mountains, swallowing the sunlight. The calm lake surface turned agitated, its gentle ripples replaced by choppy, dark waves. A low rumble of thunder echoed across the valley, a warning of the fury to come. As night fell, the storm broke with a vengeance. The wind didn't just blow, it howled. A mournful, angry sound that rattled the windows and tore through the small village. The young mother, exhausted from a long day, had fallen into a deep sleep, the rhythmic drumming of rain against the roof her lullaby. But a sudden violent gust of wind slammed a shutter against the house, jolting her awake. Her heart pounded in her chest. An unsettling silence had replaced the baby's usual soft breathing. She turned to his cradle. It was empty. Panic, cold and sharp, seized her. She scrambled from her bed and saw it. The front door, which she was certain she had bolted, was wide open, swinging eerily on its hinges. Screaming Noah's name, her voice swallowed by the roaring wind, she ran outside into the torrential downpour. The rain plastered her hair to her face, blinding her. Her bare feet slipped on the muddy ground as she raced towards the lake, her mind a whirlwind of terror. And then she saw it. Through the sheets of rain, illuminated by a sudden terrifying flash of lightning, she saw her baby's wooden cradle. It was in the lake, being tossed about like a toy by the violent, churning waves, drifting further and further from the shore. Her world shattered in that single horrifying moment. Just as a wave of utter despair washed over her, a flash of white caught her eye. It was Luna, the swan. Her form, a beacon of light against the tempestuous darkness, was battling her way through the storm-tossed water. She dove into the churning chaos, her powerful wings beating against the waves that threatened to pull her under. It was a desperate, heroic fight. The waves crashed over her, and with each flash of lightning, the mother could see Luna struggling, her feathers soaked and heavy, her elegant form battered by the relentless storm. She was pushing the cradle, using her own body as a shield and a rudder, inching it slowly, painstakingly, back towards the safety of the shore. The night felt endless, a dark eternity filled with the roar of the storm and the mother's desperate prayers. When the first pale light of dawn finally broke through the clouds, the storm had passed, leaving a somber, eerie quiet in its wake. The mother, who had collapsed in exhaustion and grief by the water's edge, stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, and she saw it. The cradle was resting near the shore, gently nudged against the reeds. She scrambled towards it, her heart a frantic drum against her ribs. Inside, nestled amongst his blankets, was Noah. He was safe. He was alive, and tucked all around him, like a soft protective blanket, were dozens of pure white feathers. They were a testament to the battle that had been fought for him. But of Luna, there was no sign. The mother searched the lake, her calls echoing across the now calm water. But the beautiful Swan who had been their guardian was gone. She had given everything to save the child she had come to love. 10 years passed. The village grew, and life moved on. But the story of the brave Swan was never forgotten. The baby, Noah, was now a young boy, with his mother's kind eyes and a quiet, thoughtful nature. Every year, on the anniversary of the storm, he would walk to the edge of the same lake, the water now as peaceful as it was on the mornings he remembered from his earliest days. He would kneel beside the water, the sun warming his face, and in his hand he would hold a single, perfectly preserved white feather. He would stay there for hours, a silent vigil of gratitude for the friend who gave her life so that he could live his. He would look out across the water, a silent thank you whispered on the breeze. The villagers say that sometimes, on nights when the moon is full and casts a silver path across the lake, a lone white swan can still be seen. It glides gracefully across the water, a silent, ethereal guardian, forever watching over the boy she once saved. Because true love in any form leaves a mark that never, ever fades. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking and subscribing for more content like this.